Langkah pertama adalah hal tersulit yang semua orang harus hadapi, termasuk aku. Gak mau nyusahin orang, selalu minta bantuan. Jadi, aku lebih sering menyendiri. Ngabisin waktu ngutak-ngatik komputer sendiri. Ternyata tanpa sadar bisa membuahkan hasil. Pelan-pelan aku bangun rasa semangatku. Aku memutuskan untuk bangkit dan belajar banyak hal baru. Semakin hari pengetahuanku semakin bertambah. 900 jam belajar machine learning hingga bahasa Inggris. Buat Adi yang dulunya berkecil hati, sekarang jadi lebih berani. Tanpa aku sadarin, ternyata aku udah ngambil langkah demi langkah maju ke depan. Sekarang aku berkarir sebagai AI engineer. Sekarang aku bisa ikut bantu berkontribusi untuk industri kesehatan bangsa. Bantu permudah distribusi dengan bantuan teknologi AI. Bekal pengetahuan yang aku pelajari di Bangkit. Kadang situasi bisa mengkondisikan pola pikiran, tapi aku bisa memilih untuk bangkit. Ambil berapapun langkah maju yang aku mau.
Hello everyone. Welcome to the first guest speaker session at Bangkit Academy 2024 with the title Empower Your Career Journey. My name is Dapa Mafazi. I'm a cloud computing graduate from Bangkit Academy 2022 and I'm your moderator for today's session. Buckle up guys because it's gonna be an exciting one. So let's do a checkup. How are you guys doing today? Give me your comments and reaction in the chat. Give some emojis that I can see, and I will be seeing those comments right now. Feel free to bring your snack or drinks, or maybe both to accompany you in this session, so you have something to snack on. Okay, let's see. Bintang is here. Hello, Bintang. Okay, we have Anwar. Indah Messi. Good day, Diorama. Sebut aku Bang. Already say your name, Martin. Okay, JB Ginting, I'm great. That's nice to hear. Songki, this one? Ooh, what's that emoji? Hello, hello, hello. Okay, keep the comment flowing, guys. In the meantime, when you have a question about the material that you want to ask to our instructor or guest speaker, you can use the hashtag ask underscore question, and we will be answering your question soon enough. And don't forget, this session has attendance form that you can check in the YouTube description. It will be open in the middle of the session, so keep an eye on it. Okay, let's see a bit more in the comment. My name is Dodi Nopal. Hello, Dodi Nopal, hadir. Okay, a lot of you guys, it seems like you are already ready or more than ready for this session. Okay, Shoo. Okay, let's a little bit move on. Our speaker today is from an application that you may already be familiar with. Do you guys know TikTok? Or maybe you're already using it right now. So Miss Catherine Pandria, location lead at TikTok, will be our guest speaker for today's session. Let's greet her straight away. Hello, Miss Catherine.
Hello, hi Dafa. Hi everyone.
Hello, hi Miss.
I
Okay,
hope
how
you
are you,
have had
Miss?
your lunch.
I haven't actually.
Oh, so bring your snack. Let's make
Yeah,
this a very relaxing session.
right, Miss. Okay, Miss, where are you right now?
Where?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm at home actually because I have a
Ooh.
very, I have an ultra wide monitor. So this ultra wide monitor is very convenient to give a talk like this, or when I teach Bangkit, ILT. Yeah, it is very convenient to work from home. Yeah, but usually I go to office, and my office is at the Raffles Place. So I'm based in Singapore actually.
Oh, you're based
So
in
it is,
Singapore.
yeah, it is 1 hour ahead of Jakarta or WIB. Yeah.
Hmm. Okay. Maybe how's the weather there, Miss
It's
Catherine?
very, very hot today. It is really hot and humid. And I heard Jakarta is flooded. Is that true? I'm not sure. Where are you, Dafa? Are you in Jakarta
Uh,
or other city?
I'm in another city. I'm in Kalimantan Timur, so
Oh,
it's
oh,
kind of
that's
hot.
far.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I went to Banjarmasin last year for a cousin's wedding. So yeah, it's very hot
Ooh.
over there as well.
Yeah. I mean, Kalimantan is really hot. Like right now, it's maybe the biggest. Yeah. Anyway, the participant is already flowing right now, Miss Catherine. So I'll give it your time to present the material.
Okay, thank you, Dafa. All right, I see my slide is already up. Thank you so much, everyone, for your time to participate in this guest speaker session this afternoon. It is always a pleasure to teach Bankit students. I have been teaching Bankit since maybe 3 years ago, 2020 or 2021. And it has always been a pleasure. All of you are usually very eager students, very diligent, very intelligent, very active. It is always a pleasure to teach all of you. So thank you so much for your time. Bring your snacks and or everything, and please feel free to ask questions, and I'll try to answer it as we go along. Okay. As Dafa has mentioned, today I will talk about how we can empower our career journey. So, my name is Catherine. And I am here because the lovely Bangkit team asked me to be the guest speaker. And I really hope that you can learn from my experience. So if there is anything at all that you are not sure about, feel free to ask. So and make sure that this session is really useful for you. And I'm still learning as well, but maybe my experience can be helpful as you navigate your career journey. Currently, I'm leading the localization team at TikTok Shop. Yeah, Dafa mentioned it's TikTok, and you know TikTok as an entertainment app. But actually, the team that I'm leading is focusing on TikTok Shop. You know that TikTok Shop has been banned in Indonesia, and we came back strong together with Tokopedia. So I'm leading the localization team in for that. The localization team, basically, what we do is that we localize. It's not just translating, but we localize all the content in the app to different languages across the globe. So we have localized TikTok Shop into Indonesian language. We also localize into other languages such as Malay or Vietnamese and Thai and many more. So that's a bit about myself. And this is I want to share first about my own career journey because actually in 2005 I graduated from Nanyang Technological University in Singapore as a bachelor of engineering. And you may wonder, how can an engineer then work in localization right now, which actually deals a lot with language and not code or anything technical at all. So here's my story. I started my career as an engineer and a project manager, first in Motorola and then Singapore General Hospital, the largest public hospital in Singapore. I started as a software engineer. Don't ask me anything about it because I don't remember anything, and I think I'm not very good at it. That's why I moved to project management and I lead the IT implementation project in Singapore General Hospital for the HRIS, HR information system, to digitize their HR system basically. And then in 2012, I had a baby. He is already 12 years old now. And I decided to have a career break, but not really a career break. I just stopped working full time. And at that time, I asked myself, do I, uh, what I actually like to do? And it's not engineering. I love project management, but what I really love is I like writing. So I started to write freelance, helping my friends to write for their website. I also became a voiceover artist, and I self-published a children's book with my illustrator friend, and that's where my career took a different direction. In 2017, I got the opportunity to become the creative writer for Google Assistant. So I was the one writing in Indonesian all the dry jokes the Google Assistant gave to the users. Kayak apa ya misalnya, uh, oh, um, artis apa yang murahan gitu. Jawabannya adalah Ed Sheeran, coba. Garing banget lah pokoknya. But that's what I did at that time, and many other content for Google Assistant. So, and 1 year later, I became the language manager for Indonesian at Google, still at Google. So what happened was that I was the creative writer and then the language manager for Bahasa Indonesia at that time quit Google, and she recommended me to replace her. So I was interviewed by HR and I got the position. I was very happy working at Google as a language manager for Bahasa Indonesia, and that's how I got to teach Bangkit because Mbak Dora, the one managing the Bangkit program, is actually one of my stakeholders and from marketing. I am the one who localized all the contents and help her localize marketing campaigns to Indonesian language at that time. Unfortunately, life took a different direction again. And in 2023, in February, I got laid off. And not sure why I was lucky to get laid off because none of my team member got laid off. But I was very, very lucky to have another opportunity. And in July, in the same year, 2023, I got a position as a localization lead for TikTok. in the global e-commerce team, which is now what I'm doing. And it has been a very exciting experience with bigger scope. And actually, this is also quite a funny story because I started at TikTok Shop as the language manager lead. Basically, when we talk about language manager lead, we focus more on the quality of the localization of the translation, and I will be leading all the language managers. But then on the second week of working, I got reorg, and actually my scope is getting larger. I become the localization lead, means I manage everything localization at TikTok Shop. And I embrace the challenge, and here I am. And I'm very happy that I can share here with you, and I'm very happy actually doing my job. So if anyone wants to know more about my job, we can you can ask me later on. But yeah, let's continue with this material today. So, like my own career, your career next time might not be as straightforward as you like it to be. Probably now you will go through your Bangkit program, hoping to be an engineer, machine learning engineer, or cloud computing, but maybe you will not end up doing that. Then that's okay. It might even look like a mess. Maybe it will be splattered with disappointment, or maybe you will get laid off just like me. That's all right. It's all part of life. But the most important thing is that how do you make sure that you are well equipped to face this chaotic mess? And this is the purpose of today's session. Hopefully it can be an inspiration and can help you in navigating your career journey. All right. So I'm going to talk about three things. What should we do in navigating our career and to finally achieve the ideal career that we really want? It actually boils down to three things. First, you have to know yourself. Secondly, you have to know the game, and you have to keep growing. So let's get into more details. First, you have to know yourself. What do you actually want to do? There are several ways to find a career that you genuinely love. So this session, I will focus more on a very practical tools that you can apply right away. All right. First of all, you have to focus not on the title of the job, but to the day-to-day task. When your title says engineer, but what does it mean? What do you have to do in the day-to-day basis? Are you going to write codes? Or, for example, when I started at Motorola, my job is not writing codes at all. I just do testing. And then I have to use all the mobile phones and find a way to break the phone so the software will hang. So you have to know, focus not on the title, but really what are you going to do in a day to day basis? And will you like it after you know that this is what you are going to do? Is it really as cool as it sounds? And the second one, you can reflect on the common threads. I know that many of you, maybe most of you, are actually still studying right now, and you will find your first job like after you graduated from Bangkit and graduated from your university or your school. But as you go along, as you have already had like several jobs, or even right now, if you take a look at your past projects, probably if you join organizations in your campus or anywhere at all, or for example, you organize your family gathering for Lebaran, reflect on the common threads. What do all your past jobs have in common? And what do you actually like about it? You can create something simple like this. What list down all the jobs or all the projects that you have done before. What is the role actually? What is it about? What do you do? And what are the skills that you gain from that job? And what you like about that job? So, for example, for myself, even when I studied engineering in university, I actually enjoy language studies and I enjoy the humanities subjects. I don't really enjoy engineering, hardcore engineering subjects, frankly speaking. And I chose engineering because it's my parents' wish. They don't want to pay for my tuition if I don't choose engineering, basically. So I know from this from since ever since I was still studying that I enjoy language. And when I was an engineer and a project manager, I love talking to users. I love talking to people, connect with people, and I like to write reports actually. So from this two experiences, I realized that I love writing and I love language. That's why when I took a break for my full-time job, I started paving my career as a writer. And I think when I became a language manager at Google, I find it is my ideal role at that time. It's really dealing with language, and I deal with, like, I get to work with a lot of people. I get to support a lot of stakeholders. It is really fun, actually, and I really love my job. And now I am already I'm leading localization team at TikTok. It posts like different challenges, and it's even more exciting and even bigger. And I have to push myself to keep growing. So you can take a look and you can reflect what are the common threads of your past jobs, and you will find what is actually you really like to do and what do you want to do. The third one, you can audit your time. Which activities actually make you happiest? I believe in, yeah, one of the modules for IL, the soft skills ILT in Bangkit is about time and energy management. And I think you will be learning about how you can schedule using, for example, Google Calendar or any other calendar or any productivity tools, right? So you will have a lot of activities, you will do time blocking, and you know what are your activities. You can rate your activities. Actually, for some of the activities, maybe you can rate like 2+ means you really enjoy it, plus minus meaning yeah, it's just so so. So you can know what activities actually in your job or in your project that you really love doing. This is also will help to know what you actually want to do and what you really like to do. The fourth one is visualize your me plus. What is me plus? Me plus is simply the ideal version of yourself, something that you aspire to be. So, what is the ideal version of yourself? You can use these few questions to really think about what is your me plus. For example, the overall big thinking goal for the me plus is what? What is your long term goal? What do you aspire to be? What is your life goal, basically? And if you achieve this me plus, what is your job title going to be? And in which industry? And what are some of the potential companies that you will be working for? And for example, if you yourself, the me plus, will be running or working in a company, what what does the company look like? What are the characteristics? What are the cultures? And yeah, this kind of thing you can find more. I think this is from a book. You can find out more. And but this is some of the questions you can ask yourself to know what do you actually want to do in your life and where do you want to go. All right. And the next one is to invest 13 minutes a day on yourself. So you already know what is your me plus, you what is your aspiration. But that will all just a dream, be just a dream if you don't invest on yourself. You don't allocate your time. So why 13 minutes? This is also from a book. But basically the idea is that you don't need to invest too much time, or it is not very hard to invest on yourself in a daily basis. What you can invest on the small steps instead of like all the big ones that seems impossible. For example, you don't have to think, okay, I have to attend a course like a 5 days course and dedicate like 5 days of my life, like 24 hours a day to learn this. Bankit is already taking care of that, right? But after Bankit, you also still have to continue investing yourself. For myself, when even right now, when I'm already working, I'm leading a team, I still try to invest 13 minutes, at least 13 minutes a day for myself, because I know that as a relatively new leader, there are a lot of things that I still don't know, and there are a lot of things that I can improve. There are a lot of things that I have to think about, like how I can ensure my subordinates' well-being. For example, how can I think about their career growth? This is something that I don't think, if I just think about it myself, it's going to be optimal. So what I do is, for example, every day when I go to office, I'm taking the train. I will just read articles about it, and then so that when I reach the office, I can follow up on that. That is just some simple examples on how you can invest in yourself, especially for you who are in Jakarta, macet kan, traffic jam everywhere. You can really, if you take public transport, this is what you can do. You can think about all these things. Yeah, you can also utilize the technology, for example, like audiobooks and all that. Currently, the technology is there, so there is no excuse you are not investing on yourself every day. And lastly, embrace the U-turns. It's okay to change. For example, if now you think, okay, I want to be a machine learning engineer, I really love mobile development. After you complete your Bangkit program and then you say, okay, this is too much, this is not for me, it's all right. There is no harm in taking a U-turn. Your Bangkit experience will not be in vain. There are a lot of things that you can learn from it. For example, the soft skill sessions and some of the, for me myself, even though now I'm not dealing with any engineering stuff anymore, I think my experience in working as an engineer and also my study helped me to have like a more structured thinking. There are a lot of things that we can, that are some transferable skills. So don't worry about it. There's always a way to achieve your goal, and U-turn is okay. It's just part of life. You don't have to be disheartened by it. Okay, so you know, you how to figure out what you want to do. More often than not, it is really unavoidable. To take risks. You have to take risks to achieve that. And taking risks is really not easy. But really, when if you have something big that you want to pursue, taking risks is really unavoidable. It is something that you have to do. But of course, you don't just take risks and then you don't know what is going to happen, right? There are some ways to take risks that you can prepare so that it is not too bad for you. Or, I mean, you can prepare before you take the risk itself. So you want to make sure that you don't fail hard and you have to mitigate all this risk beforehand. First of all, you can first of all, you have to assess your own risk tolerance. What does it mean? You Everybody is different. Depending on the third part is like consider your personality. Some people are more okay to take bigger risks. Some of us feel that it is not for us. Taking risks is not for us. We are like more on the safe side. And everybody's situation is different. Probably some of us have more obligations, like financial obligations. Of course, it is not the same, right? So we have to assess what is our risk tolerance. We have to identify what is our short term and long term career goals. And we evaluate some potential risks for this each career goal. And we consider our personality, do some assessment. What kind of risk you are willing to tolerate? And the second one is to embrace your fear. Taking risks, definitely you will feel it is a bit scary, but it's all right. You have to recognize your fear, acknowledge that you are scared, and you can find out what is actually the underlying causes. For example, if you want to take a career pivot and you want to change, really make a drastic change in your career, you are afraid that you cannot get a job within 6 months. You have to find out why are you scared of this. Is it because of the financial obligation, like what I said, or maybe other things? And to embrace your fear, you have to reframe your mindset. View fear as an opportunity for growth and development. Like myself, when I first joined TikTok, it is, do you know that I don't even use TikTok? I don't even use social media because I think I'm not mature enough for social media. I don't have Facebook. I only use Instagram to order food, like home based like food business. And I don't even have TikTok. But of course, before the interview, I download it and then I study it. But yeah, I mean, like when I joined TikTok, it is something very new, and I came from Google. It is a U.S. company. Now it is like a Chinese. The parent company is from China, so there are some cultural differences. The pace is really different as well because TikTok is more like a startup, and being in a new role that I have never done before, I have to navigate a lot of ambiguity. But I really, really enjoy this kind of work because this is where I can grow the most. This is my opportunity to grow. Of course, there's a fear, especially when I just joined. What if I cannot become a good manager, for example? What if I cannot follow the pace? But it's okay. What I do is that I see it as an opportunity and I try to find out how to close the gap. This is the third one, which is taking action. What can we do to close this gap? And the third one is to create a risk management plan. We already know, we have to identify what are the potential risks. And the second one is like we can evaluate the likelihood and the impact. If evaluate if we are already identify this risk, what is the likelihood for this to happen? And then what is the impact? Will it have a big impact on your life or not? And after that, you develop a mitigation strategies. Think about it like, if this happened, what am I going to do? How can I mitigate this risk? So if I fail, if this risk do happen, I will not fail too hard or I can come back up again. And then you always review and update your plan because life is never constant. You have to always review and update your risk management plan. And the last one, seize the opportunities. Taking risks and seizing opportunities go hand in hand. So you have to really be proactive and you have to be opportunistic. You have to grab the opportunities that is presented to you. So you have to stay informed. You stay up to date with the industry trends and developments of the career that you are interested in, and don't be shy to network. Building and maintaining relationships with your colleagues, your mentors, your industry leaders will go a long way. And always be open minded because things will always change. There are always new possibilities, and do take initiatives to pursue them. And if you fail, don't make your failures to be in vain. You have to learn from your failures, and that is the data that you have to use for your future success. Right. So, long story short, after knowing yourself, you know what you want to achieve, you have to plan your life because it's really when you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So, plan your life. You have to do this planning. If not, you will just drift along, and then before you know it, it's already 10 years, 20 years down the road, and maybe you're not happy with your job. So, always plan and always assess again what you want to do and plan to achieve it. Right. Okay. The second one, after you know yourself, what do you have to do? You have to know the game. You have to know the rules to win. For example, like my son is playing in his school basketball team. So we always like to use this analogy. Like, for example, for the game of basketball, you have to know the rules. You have to know that you cannot use your feet or you cannot use your head to basically to pass the ball and to score, right? So without knowing all this, how can you play basketball? It's the same. Without knowing all the game, the rules of the game of finding a job or to grow your career, how can you win? How can you achieve what you want in life? So, how do you prepare for this game of career growth? They are actually very simple. The first one is to create a template and tailor your CV. So this second section is even more practical than the first one, and I think the you will learn about this in more detail in the future ILT sessions, the soft skills sessions. But this is just like uh, a very high level, and I will just share with you some practical skills that I always teach my Bangkit students as well. So first, about tailoring your CV, make it look like that you really really want that one job. This is a tool that I use myself when I look for a job after I got laid off. So there is this flowcv.com, and it is free if you to create like one CV. But if you want unlimited CV, then you can pay. But I think as a start, it is enough to use the free version, and it is very convenient. You can tailor the sections of your CV, and yeah, basically it is just like a form that you can customize. And what I usually do for CV is that I will make one standard CV, the template that lists down all my experiences. But I have to tailor that according to the positions that I want to I want to apply for. Maybe I can also share, because since I joined TikTok, I have been hiring as well. I have been hiring language managers, localization project managers. I have interviews like, I don't know, 20 or even more people, and I have evaluated maybe hundreds of CVs. One thing that makes me want to, okay, maybe I should reject this CV, is that when they just give me a very standard CV. For example, this is a real example that just happened like this morning or and yesterday. Somebody applied for a language manager position, but in their profile, the profile summary, they just say that they want to be in a position of like a salespeople or like business development and things like that. So I know that, okay, so this person is not really interested in the role. He's just like spamming all the yeah, he's just like I'm not sure what is the term, but basically they just like submit applications without really thinking about the role. Right. So this is something that I think, if you don't want to spend too much time customizing your CV, at least customize your profile. Yeah. And just some tips. I know that even though for me, myself, when I am the hiring manager, I want to give opportunities to people with different background and experiences. I want to give chances basically, but I know that some hiring managers want very particular experiences. So it is always a good practice that you take a look at the job posting, the job requirements, and what this role will be working for, like the day-to-day job. Again, it's not about the title, but about the day-to-day task, and you have to customize your CV and include some keywords from that. So that is always the best practices, because HR will be the one screening your CV at first. So if you don't have all the keywords, it is most likely they will pass your CV, right? The second one, to prepare for this game of getting your dream job, is to make connections. Who you know and their perception of you is very, very important. So there is no limit on how you can make connections. So for example, if you want to work in a company and you already research about this company, you know who are the people in the leadership positions. And for example, just for example, if you know that, oh, all these leadership positions actually alumni of ITB misalnya. So for example, if you plan that you want to go for master's degree, you go and take it at ITB if you really want to work in this company. That is how hungry you must be in wanting to get your job, this dream job, or this career. So make connections. And you really, really, it is very important, because like how I got my job at TikTok is also through connection, because I have a friend, an ex Googler, that already worked at TikTok before, and he referred me to a position. Of course, I have to still go through the interview and everything, but with referral, usually it is easier. Okay. And the third one is to prepare for interview. You have to prepare. You cannot wing it. It's not like me giving this guest speaker session. I can wing it. I don't like plan. I didn't have a script. I can just like more or less wing it. But for interview, please don't do that. Please, you have to prepare. First of all, you have to predict the questions. And then the second one, you have to practice, practice, and practice. How do you predict interview questions? This is just some practical tips on what I did when I went for job hunting after I got laid off. First, you research the company. Second, you research the interviewers. For example, if I know that my potential interviewer, or the interviewer will be like the person from maybe sales, then I can predict what kind of questions he or she will be interested in. And also, you can find examples online. There are tons of examples online for many kinds of companies, especially if you go for big companies. And the fourth one that I did after I got laid off is I used AI to generate questions. I used ChatGPT really to generate interview questions. I put a prompt. Okay, I'm applying for this. I forgot what exactly the prompt, but basically I put there the job requirements, and then I say like, what are some of the potential interview questions, and did okay. The some of them really appear, especially those quite generic questions about leadership and all that. But I think even though it didn't end up appearing in the interview, it is really a good start to start practicing interview questions. So don't hesitate to use AI. But you can use AI to generate the questions, but for the answers, I think you shouldn't, because usually from my observation, I'm not sure if the newer version of ChatGPT is better, but at that time I find that the answers is really too generic, and the hiring managers can tell that you are using AI for your answer. Okay. So this is the one that I want to emphasize a bit on this about practicing for interview. This is when I interviewed for my role at TikTok. It is a presentation interview, and this is actually the real slide from my interview, from my presentation for the interview. One thing that you really have to prepare definitely is for the questions, tell me about yourself. And I want to emphasize to you that when people ask you about that, when the interviewer asks you, please tell me about yourself, don't go tell your life stories like that is all over the place. You have to really remember what the position you are applying for and tailor your story around that role. You have to, frankly speaking, you really have to psycho yourself. You have to believe your story. For example, if you tweak your story and then you beautify it a little bit, that is okay. Because sometimes our life is too messy, and then we want to have a craft a more coherent story. That is okay, but you must believe your story. You have to repeat to yourself that okay, this is my story, this is who I am, and that is what you convey to the interviewers. So for myself, when they ask me, please tell me about yourself, I will just say like what I just did uh, earlier for this guest speaker session, that my name is Catherine. Started my career as an engineer and then project manager. In 2012, I made a career switch and I joined Google as creative writer. And I started as a language manager for Indonesian. And at the end, because I am interviewing for the language manager lead position, I emphasize on how rewarding it has been to be a language manager at Google. And I have witnessed how good localization could make a difference. And as Google products were localized to all these different languages, I can see that the impact that it brings to all the Google users and all that. Yeah. So tailor it to the positions you are applying for. And based on my experience as well interviewing quite a number of people since I joined TikTok, there are some, I will share with you some of the interview flops. One is to go on and on about yourself and then do like telling the interviewer about some unrelated things. Maybe you are very passionate about some things, some of your projects. Like there is one person I interviewed for localization project managers manager position, but she was very interested in like humanities or philosophy. And then when I asked her to tell me about herself, she went on and on about philosophy and all that. And I think by the end of the interview, I only managed to ask her that and one other question. So that is really a no-no, right? So you have to really focus on the role that you are interviewing. And the second one is like, I really like if I can say what is the number one question that stumped many of the candidates is when I ask them, yeah, so yeah, I can see that you have this experience, all these experiences, but what is what is the most memorable project that you have done? For some reason this word memorable and then it's a project always stump them. They don't know, some of them really don't know when they don't know how to answer. So you can think about it, and if you are being asked about a memorable project, please make sure that that project is related to what position you're applying for. Don't forget that it is still an interview. Okay, there are many other tips, but yeah, these are some of the, considering the time, these are some of the tips that I can share. And then the next one, this is something that I also always share with my Bangkit students on my ILT session. How to answer behavioral questions. So basically, like, what will you do when this happen or that happen, and if your stakeholder couldn't agree with each other, and then the deadline is very near and you cannot meet the deadline and all that. Long story short, I find that this 8D problem solving methodology is the best way to answer it. There are a lot of methods, I think a lot of tools that you can use. For example, the STAR method or things like that. But I find this one is very versatile. So I will explain a little bit. So to answer behavioral questions where they pose a problem that you have to solve, you have to answer it in a very structured way. First, you have to know what is the problem, right? And then you have to devise a solution. But it is not enough. First, you have to know what is the containment actions. From all the answers, there is always have to be an action to contain the issue first. What will you do at that time that can stop the problem right away? And then there is always a step to identify the root cause. But in containment actions, has to come first before you identify the root cause. Because, for example, if the stakeholders are already angry, already pissed off, you want to stop them from being more pissed off or angrier. So you have to have containment actions. Only then you identify the root cause. And after that, you develop and you verify your solutions. And then you have to implement the corrective actions. And the step number 7 is also one of the what will differentiate you from other candidates if you think about the long term. Okay, this issue happens, this disaster happens, for example, but how can you prevent it from happening again in the future? That is very important. So your answer has to have this element. It's not just solving this issue for now, but what is the learning that you can get from this issue that you can take and then you can use to prevent future issues. Yeah. Okay. You can ask your instructors or mentors further in your ILT sessions later on. Yeah. And then the last one that I want to share with you is please don't take it too hard. When you search later on after you graduated and you become a fresh grad, don't take it too hard if you find difficulties in finding your first job or your next career. Because know that there are actually fake vacancies in LinkedIn, or I don't know. I only know LinkedIn, but I believe in any other like job posting websites as well. So usually, if a post has been there for very long, maybe they're already interviewing candidates, and it's not really fake actually, because now that I am hiring, I know how things work. And for LinkedIn, they automatically post and post again for certain positions, and then we cannot take down that post before we basically we hire the person. So sometimes it is just a matter of time. If you see that the job posting has been there for so long, probably don't get too disheartened if you are not getting a call. And after I got laid off, actually, there are a lot of people, including recruiters. I went to career events, and then they say, "Yeah, just reach out to me. I will, yeah, help you to find a job." Not all of them are sincere. A lot of them actually, like when I reach out to them, then they ghosted me. And yeah, so just know that there are this kind of thing. Just move on. Don't take it too hard. And we are in a bad economy, in case you didn't realize. So the job market is pretty slow. So don't get discouraged if you cannot find a job right away. And again, I mentioned before, yeah, the referrals are your best friend. So try to find that connection and that can refer you to their company. Again, presentation interview, like what I had for this TikTok position, is on the trend. So make sure you know how to present and practice before you presenting. And you will definitely experience some self-doubt when you get rejected from so many posts. After I got laid off, I don't know how many times I got into self-doubt as well. Even though, I when I got laid off, I was about to be promoted, so I know that it is not because of my job performance, but still I have self-doubt, like why does it have to be me and all that. So anticipate that, and it's okay. You will grow from it. Just push through. Yeah. And then we come to the last part of this guest speaker session. Number 3 is to keep growing. So all of this, like knowing yourself, knowing the game, it is just the beginning. When you get your first job, whatever it is, whether you love it, whether you're excited, or it is just to get by, just so that you can have some income, know that it is just the beginning. You have to keep growing. And I want to share about this, what is called about perceived value. So like this coffee and macaron, right? Some coffee, it can be very expensive. For example, here in Singapore, Starbucks, like one cup can be $8, which is I think like 80,000 rupiahs. And this one, macarons, it is even more expensive. It is a French dessert, and it is very expensive. I think this one box is definitely more than $10. And actually, it's not because it is very difficult to make or the ingredients are very, very expensive. No, but it's the perceived value. So as you grow your career, you must understand that there is this concept of perceived value. It is not just about working hard. So, for example, if you already land a job and then you try to work hard and then you didn't get promoted, maybe it is because of the perceived value. You have to be strategic. When you do your work, you have to know it's not just about doing your work or delivering what you have to. That is just the bare minimum. You have to think, always be proactive and think what is the value to the business. Your manager at the very least and the company have to see you as somebody who is valuable to the business. So whenever you have a project and you have ideas, you want to propose some ideas, you have to think about the value to the business and you must show it that you are valuable. It's, of course, it's not just about like, okay, you have visibility, you make connections or butter up to your seniors, but you don't do your work. I don't encourage that. Okay, you really have to have substance. You have to know what you are doing. You have to deliver work, but don't forget to be visible as well, to make sure that everybody around you can see that you are valuable to the business, valuable to the company, and valuable to them. And the second one is to really, again, invest in yourself. I cannot emphasize this enough. Learning should never, never, ever stop. So, back to our first segment about the Me Plus. So, think about that and then always adjust your Me Plus as well. Remember, it is okay to have a U-turn, right? So always update your Me Plus and always invest in yourself. Um, how you can close the gap to achieve that ideal version of you. Don't forget to spend money if you can help it. And I think nowadays with internet, you don't have to always spend a big amount of money to invest in yourself. You can do online like free courses. I know that Google offers a lot of free courses. I myself, when I got laid off, I took the cloud leader cloud leader online course from Google, the free one. Yeah, there are a lot of opportunities for you to invest in yourself and grow. Yeah. And yeah, I guess that's all from me today. Thank you so much again for staying and for listening to me. And yeah, if you have any questions, I think Dafa and the Bangkit team will take care of it and will present me the questions. And you can always find me on LinkedIn as well if you want to connect and you want to ask more questions. Yeah. Thank you so much. Back to you, Dafa.
Okay, thank you, Miss Catherine. That was a lot of materials that useful for me, even more insightful, I guess. That there's one thing that I like that from what you present is don't let your failure be in vain. Learn something from it. I think a lot of people kind of forget when what like it's just like life happens and then they move on, but then they don't really take time to reflect on what's they can learn from it, Miss Catherine.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
Do you mind sharing one of the example that you have in your career that you learned from the failure?
Learn from failure. Okay. Yes, definitely. Like when this is when I still work at Google. So just before I got laid off, I work on a project. It's about stakeholder management, basic management and engagement. Basically, I have to create a framework for my team on how to engage our stakeholders strategically. So yeah, it is the details doesn't really matter, but for this one, actually, I I work on this project and I kick it off not very strongly because there is another a very difficult stakeholders that feels that I am stealing her project. So what happened was that she tried to connect with me and then she tried to influence me to use whatever materials or whatever materials what she has her team has done, which actually it is not really what we need, or at that time, like it is not as I planned. And I have spent like 4 hours, at least 4 hours, just to connect with her, try to understand, and she's just not cooperative. So I feel that at the end, I couldn't meet a milestone because of that, because I wasted too much time. And my manager wasn't too happy at the beginning of the project because this is like an early part of the project, because um, I took longer than I should, basically. So yeah, I learned from that mistake. So I know that dealing with people, sometimes you don't have to be accommodative all the time. Like there are different types of people. You have to really know, you have to assess what kind of person this person is, and there are different ways to handle it. You don't have to engage all the time if you think that will be useless. There are a lot of ways. Maybe I can pull in my manager first, like earlier, and things like that, because some people just see the ranks. Some people just see that, okay, you are not the boss, I don't want to deal with you, and all that. So that is something that we have to understand from whoever we are working with, and we tailor how we deal with them. Yeah,
I see.
that
So
is just an
yeah,
example. Yeah.
another skill to understand is to understand people or maybe another person. Miss
Yep.
Catherine.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Miss Catherine. But I think we already have a lot of questions from the participants, so let's move on to the Q&A session. So don't forget,
Sure.
guys, if you have any question, you can type in below hashtag S underscore your question. And we already have our first question from Calvin Kaisar. Hello, Miss Catherine. I want to
Mhm.
work overseas. Do you have any tips on how to get a job overseas? Where do I even start? Do you need working visa? But it's only granted when a company sponsor you. Ooh, this is a lot of question in one from one specific.
Yes, yes. Actually, this is a very good and very practical questions, and can benefit everybody who is interested to work overseas. So actually, it depends on which country you want to work in. Every country is different. I can speak for Singapore, but I'm sure like any other countries is have different requirements. So for Singapore, yes, you have to have a working visa, and it's only granted when a company sponsor you. So one example is that I just hired an Indonesian language manager, actually.
Ooh,
And yeah, and he was from Indonesia. He was in Indonesia before he joined the company. He just looked at the what he did is that he worked in Jakarta at that time, and then he got a referral for this position, the language manager, because the language manager needs to be based in Singapore. And he just applied from LinkedIn and from the for career website, I don't remember. And we don't limit ourselves for certain roles. We don't limit ourselves to be, oh, you have to already be in Singapore, and then we can take candidates from everywhere else, especially if the role is really niche, like Indonesian language. I don't think that a lot of qualified people in Singapore at the first place. And yes, we do sponsor visa if we find the right candidate and we have the quota. And we don't know the quota, actually, for different company, for different role, it is different. Yeah, so you can start just maybe LinkedIn is the best place for this kind of global roles. If you want, you can filter the positions based on the country you want to work from. Yeah. And yeah, but also the one that I want to emphasize is also there is a quota. And actually some governments really do say to companies that they have to prioritize citizens. Like in Singapore, before we can hire somebody from Indonesia, for example, that needs working visa, the HR have to justify to the Ministry of Manpower that we already try to find Singaporean candidates, but we cannot. And then this is the reason why we need to hire from overseas and all that. So it is not that easy, but it's still doable.
I see. Okay, thank you, Ms.
Oh,
Catherine.
if you want to get the job overseas, but make sure you have a good command of English. That is something that I want to, yeah, emphasize as
I
well.
I think that's the most important skill at today's date. I think the
Yeah.
ability to speak English is pretty much needed to go somewhere. Okay, thank you for the question. I think next question. Let's see. Okay, from Farhan Noval Nuryansyah. Hello, Kak Catherine. How important is professional network in expanding one career opportunity? I've seen content about employee referral programs. What do you think about it?
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, it's always, well, it will pay off to actually network. But yeah, nowadays there's LinkedIn, you can connect, but of course maybe it is not very ideal, especially if you connect with somebody you didn't know already. But if you have a friend who work in certain company that you target, that is the best actually. Yes, most I cannot say most because I don't know companies in Indonesia, but many companies have employee referral programs. And like I can say like for Google, if you are being referred by an employee, at least you will not be in limbo. They will not ghost you. You will get updates. If you fail to be selected for interview, they will tell you. Yeah. For TikTok, maybe yeah, I think they will do that also. But what I know is that for TikTok, if you are being referred from somebody internally, your application will be marked as a referral and it will be on top, I think. Yeah. So there is a merit. You have more visibility compared to other people. But of course, at the end, it's up to yourself. And actually, I got to know about this TikTok role also because of I network with other Googlers who got laid off as well. So one of them told me about this opportunity. Yeah. So it can be, yeah, you can get opportunities from anywhere. And networking is one of them. And it really pays off to network. But actually, I want to say also, you don't just network with people because you want something from them. I mean, you have to be sincere. It is always like a two-way, what you can do for them as well. And then if you have to really just want to network because you want to connect with that person. It's not just for this one. For example, you want to get the benefit from them. Maybe not everybody will like that.
I see, I see. Okay, can you share any tips on networking, Miss Catherine? Like the, the previous one they already said, maybe there's another one that maybe from LinkedIn, it's kind of too formal, right? Just to connect with random people or
Oh,
maybe. Uh,
yeah, I'm not sure. I think some people I know that they have successes connecting on LinkedIn. But for me, it's not really. But I think it still pays off. For example, right? This is just a very practical example. I always tell my Bangkit students, yeah, you can connect with me on LinkedIn. And if you are interested in working in my company, let me know. I can refer you. See, this is already like networking. And really, there is one Bangkit student actually reached out to me on LinkedIn and then he asked for some career advice. And yeah, I just answer him and hopefully he can, yeah, benefit from it.
I see, I
So
see.
networking is not just to find a position or a job, but you can also learn from those people. They can give you more than positions. Maybe they can give you insights or life lessons or for your career or anything.
I see. Okay, thank you, Miss Catherine. That was a splendid answer. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Let's see. Okay, from Farid Alvin Fadila. I heard some argument that the IT field is on the hype right now and the competition will be tight. Any suggestion on how should we strategize to be able to compete in the market? Ooh, I kind of feel this one, Miss Catherine.
Oh, yeah. Uh, I think first of all, that goes across the board is again, prepare your CV, right? So that is
Right.
the first thing that HR or your potential employer will see. So make sure you have it right. You have the best CV for that role. And for IT, I'm not so sure because I'm like useless for technical things right now. But I think there will be a coding test. So that is something that you have to prepare. Yeah. That the coding test. And I can share now I'm hiring language managers. There's also language tests. And actually I just had a meeting with HR this morning and he complained saying that, oh, all the candidates that I proposed now all failed the language test. There are 9 candidates all failed the language test. And he asked like did, what can he do to prepare the candidates? So I can tell them that, okay, the language test is like 4 hours long and there's nothing stopping them from actually looking at Google and try to boleh nyontek gitu loh. I mean, I didn't ask them to just like do it on their own, and they have to be prepared for it. I think I told the HR that yeah, maybe you can tell the candidates that they can prepare to do this language test from the perspective of somebody localizing a product to a local language, and then they can search about it first. They can try to find out about what is language test is usually like. I think the same as IT. If you know the company you want to work for, you know what this position is about, you can predict. You predict what is the test. You search. Don't think that okay, it's okay. I'm very good at this. I will just wing it. Don't leave it to chance. So I think that's how you can be of advantage compared to other candidates. And also, secondly, is really your story. Your story have to be coherent. Craft your story, practice again and again, practice with a friend, practice in front of the mirror. What I did is I record myself and I listen and I tailor it. Yes, that's how you excel in interview. And if
I
you
see.
don't do that, you will lose out to other candidates because they do that.
I see. I see. Just like you mentioned before, Miss, don't forget to invest in yourself.
Yes, that's right.
Okay. Thank you. Let's go to the next question. Okay, let's see. From Daniel Sony Karunia. Okay, from your previous experience, how do you face the challenge of learning to master new things quickly for your new role?
Mm. Hmm. I think first of all is always the attitude, our attitude. Whether we already like think, oh, this is challenging, this is so hard, or you can see it from, oh, this is so exciting, this is something new, this is the opportunity. Yeah, I think that is the start. You have to have the right mindset that this is actually a challenge. This challenge is actually an opportunity for me to grow. And yeah, it is actually right. It's not for everybody. Like I know that a lot of people working at TikTok after 1 year, then they just quit because they are not suitable with the culture. But I think how you can learn to master new things quickly is by investing in yourself in small steps, like I mentioned. Like invest every day. Like maybe you spend 13 minutes, spend the hours you are in public transport to learn new things. That is where you find the opportunity. And don't be arrogant or think that, okay, maybe, yeah, I don't want to look for help or anything. Just look for help, look for a mentor, look for your managers for guidance and all that. You can find help from everywhere. Yeah, that's how you can adapt quickly. That's what I learned.
I see, I see. So this is kind of related to the growth mindset material from soft skill, yeah,
Yes.
Miss.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. You have to have a growth mindset.
Okay, so don't forget to revisit your material, guys.
That's true.
Okay, let's move on to the next question. Okay, let's see. From Reza Aulia. If on our life journey we find an opportunity to improve our skill in a field that isn't our passion or doesn't align with our initial goals, Is it okay to bravely embrace it? Ooh, what do you think, Miss Catherine?
Yes, I think, okay, let me read this again and think about how I should answer this one. Find an opportunity to improve your skill in a field that isn't your passion or doesn't align with our initial goals. Okay, it really depends on what you want. For example, you have to be very clear what you want to get out of this. If you want to improve your skill in a field that is not your passion or you are really not interested, then what do you want to get from that experience? Yeah. If the answer is nothing, then I don't think it's wise to waste your time to do it. So now I remember when I just graduated from university, I was a bachelor of engineering, but I know that actually I don't really want to be an engineer. But then because at that time uh, my thesis supervisor is like a dean, I got offered to do PhD in electrical and electronics, and basically it's like some technical as well. And I was tempted actually to like, okay, maybe I should apply and then see if I can be a PhD. But actually I know that deep down I'm not fit for this one, and I'm not interested in the subject at all. But I just feel that maybe not so bad, like learning another 4 years, they sponsor the education and all that. But then you have to really think, if I become a PhD, if I take this, what can I get out of it? And will it still serve my goal or my purpose? If the answer is no, then I think you better find the opportunity elsewhere. Because if you take this opportunity, it means you forego other opportunities that might come your way. So you have to really think about it.
I see, I see. So it's better to find our why in what we're doing.
Yeah, exactly. Find out first, know yourself first. Don't rush and don't get tempted by things that is not really will not serve your purpose in life basically.
I can relate to that, Miss. Okay, let's go on to the next question then. Okay, from now. Oh, from Elin Betsy Berginting. Miss, how can I differentiate between feeling overwhelmed due to needing break or because my work doesn't align with my preference? Sometimes I feel overwhelmed, but I do not know exactly why. Ooh, sometimes I do feel that too, Miss.
Yeah, I think all of us feel overwhelmed sometimes, and there are really a lot of things. First of all, maybe there are a lot of work, right? And then there are competing priorities. So I think this is also one of the ILT session about like stress management and also time management, how you do prioritization. So make sure you master that skill first. Usually, what we can do is that when we are feeling overwhelmed, we list down what are the things that make us feel overwhelmed. And then we break it down into smaller and smaller items. And we tackle it one thing at a time, one item, one small item at a time. And usually, after you tackle these small items one by one, at the end of it, you don't feel so overwhelmed anymore because you already achieved or you have already completed all these small ones that pile up into the big ones. So you have to understand whether it is really because of that, because you have too many things to do, or and that's why you need a break. Yeah, everybody needs a break. There are some bankits, my previous bankit students, they say, Miss, I only slept 2 hours because I have to do my bankit assignment. I say, no, no, you should prioritize your sleep. And then you have to find a way how you can do it more effectively. Yeah. So you have to really be careful. Take care of yourself physically as well. And the second part of this is like, because my work doesn't align with my preferences. Yeah, sometimes we are not all lucky to find a job that we really love. Like, we have to be realistic as well. We just have to have income. We have to get some money for ourselves, right? And maybe we have to take a job that is not very ideal. And that is okay. Just try to find the positive thing from it. What can you learn from this experience? For example, like my time in Motorola, I don't really like the engineering part, but I can learn about other things. For example, I have a very horrible boss in Motorola that like really shout at me and then accuse me of doing something that I didn't do. Then I learned not to be that kind of person, for example. Of course, it's not very easy, but try to always find what you can learn from that, and it will not feel so bad. And don't hesitate to find new job. Yeah, just find new jobs. If you think that this job is already taking too much from you, or it is not unfair to you, like the reward and I mean what you have to give is not really balanced, then yeah, don't hesitate to look for new job. Actually, you have to invest your time in finding that new job.
Hmm. See, I see. Okay. Okay. Let's go to next question, Miss Catherine.
Mhm.
Okay, from Raihan Ramzi. Hello, Miss Catherine. I heard about the difference in work culture in Singapore. How do we as Indonesian know the game rule to grow our career in Singapore? Ooh, already planning overseas.
Oh, ini Raihan udah pengen kerja di Singapura ini. Oke, oke. Okay, actually, about work culture, even in Singapore, there are many variations. It's not the same from company to company, actually. It is not the same at all. Like, for example, the culture in TikTok, in maybe in tech companies, it should be similar, like Google and Meta. Probably they are around, it's not too different. TikTok is another unique one, and but if, for example, you work in Singapore in government companies, the culture is totally different. Like when I work in, like Motorola is an MNC, multinational company, but then I work in Singapore General Hospital. I also got culture shock because in Motorola, the most important thing is that okay, you do your job. If your job is great, then it's fine. And but in Singapore General Hospital, it's more rigid. When you don't reach office at 9, people, you just feel like, oh, it's yeah, people already see you as like, why are you late and all that. It's different from company to company, actually. Yeah. So I cannot say what is the work culture, the difference between Singapore and Indonesia. And I think in Indonesia, maybe company to company also different. Maybe if you work in startup, it will be different from working for the government, right? So
Mhm.
I think it's okay. Just try to embrace it, I guess. Yeah. Okay. Know the game rules to grow our career in Singapore. You will know the game rules in the company when you join. So make sure to observe the company, the culture, and then see how you can make people in that company know that you will bring value to the business. Yeah. Your perceived value. Again, about your perceived value.
See, see. Okay, then it means that we need to adapt ourselves to whatever we're gonna
Yes, of
go in.
course. Adaptation. Yes.
Yes. Okay, thank you, Miss Catherine. Let's move on to next question. Okay, from Muhammad Ananda Pritama, is there any tips to making our first impression and branding unique that make us stand out than others?
All right. So this one is, I will refer back to my segment about the finding the common thread. Actually, what makes you unique is the common thread of your past jobs or your past experiences. Like for myself, my unique branding is that I have this project management experiences. I have like technical knowledge as well, like engineering knowledge, but I'm also good at language. So that is what unique about myself. I'm a people person, I'm a language person, but I also have this unique combination of technical and soft skills, a very particular soft skill. So that is what you can do to find your own uniqueness. Is that first, yeah, you find out the common thread, what you like to do, and there you can see what is the brand that you want to portray to your potential employer. And making impression, it needs a lot of practice. Actually, it is a skill. Nobody is charming. I mean, yeah, some people are charming from the get-go, but many of us, for most of us, it is a skill that we have to really practice and hone. We have to, again, for interview, you have to really master how you give that impression, your confidence, and your story. Even if you want to say something that is a bit bullshit. You have to really believe in it so that people also believe in you, that kind of thing. Yes. So this is how you make impressions. You have to work on your confidence. And I think many of it is about preparation. Yeah. So don't wing it. You have to prepare. You have to plan.
Okay.
And it is like it is a journey. It is a journey. So you might not be very good at the beginning, but you will improve and improve if you continue to invest in yourself, you continue learning.
Okay, so don't forget to invest and then don't forget to prepare in advance for
Yes.
your interview and your career preparation, guys.
Mm.
Okay, so let's go to another question. Okay, from Muhammad Ananda Pritama. Ooh, another one. What do you think about generalists? Is it okay to be generalist or do you prefer to be specialist?
Actually, I'm not sure what is generalist and specialist. So what is it, Dafa? Can you guess? Like what is
I
it
think
actually?
what he means is someone who can do many things, but not so in depth with it. Like, oh, he can do front end, he can do back end, and then he can do cloud engineering a bit. But sometimes people like that kind of falls behind to a specialist that focus on one thing only. So, what do you think, Miss? Is it like okay being generalist, or is it just or we kind of have to have our specialists in some case.
Okay. Actually, now I ask back the question to you. What do you want to be? And what kind of career do you want? What kind of job you want to do? Again, what is the day-to-day task that you want to do? And if you have to really have a clear picture of what you want to do, then you can answer whether it is okay to be a generalist if I want to achieve this. Then you can have your answer. You have to know first what you want to achieve. And from then you can assess to achieve that, is it okay if I'm just a generalist do or does that role require to be a specialist? Yeah. So it really depends on what's your goal.
Thank thank you, Miss Catherine. That's insightful. Like I was kind of thinking too about what's the answer, and I think if we know our why of doing it, I think this question might be easier to answer. Like, oh, if
Yeah.
my goal is to do this, is it okay to be generalist, or do I need to have specialist too?
Yep.
Oh, thank you, Miss Catherine. Okay, let's go to another
Sure.
question. And now from Bintang Okstrina Zubaidar is somewhere into engineering despite loving language. I think liking language or maybe into language. Causing English lit grad forbid me. Struggling with engineering, lost language skill. How can project management a transition?
Huh?
Oh, if
Good.
I were to analyze or maybe
Mhm.
improve on this is he maybe somewhere into engineering he kind of love language, right? And then maybe as English literature graduate, his college, I mean his jurusan, and then he's struggling with engineering and he lost his lost language skill. Now maybe he's thinking about how can he transition to project management.
How can how can project management aid transition? Okay, so if you are maybe the point is that this person is Bintang struggling with engineering, and then I think is it a she? He or she has lost the language skill. So how can project management aid the transition from engineering to language? Maybe I don't know. I'm It's okay. Again, like I mentioned before, it's okay to have U-turns. And whatever you have learned, the engineering or the language is not lost. It's still in you. So if, for example, if you now at this point of your life, you want to pursue a career in language, then you research what you actually need to have a career in language. What are the positions that you are interested in? What are the career opportunities? What is the market? It's always good to analyze the market as well to know whether your aim is realistic or not, because we also have to be realistic, right? And
Yeah.
then just project management, I think, to be very honest, it is something that everybody has to do. Everybody has to master. And that's why I think in Bangkit program, there's also an ILT for project management because it is very important. At some point in our life, we have to manage project. But if you really want to master project management, there are several ways. You can take courses, free courses online. There are a lot of plenty of materials. Bangkit will also have one. You can also take certification like PMP, management certification. Yeah, and then you can, okay, I think since this person mentioned about language, I will talk about localization. And there are a lot of localization project managers position in different companies. Like not only TikTok, Google, I think many companies have localization project managers because when their product wants to go global, usually they will need localization. They want to translate it into another language. And localization project managers, they have to have this language. It's not like a particular language skills, but they have to have like this language background. They know about language, they know about how language evolves and all that, how language can, for example, influence cultures and all that. And then they have to have strong project management experience as well. So this is maybe something, a role that you want to look into if you are into language and project management.
I see. Okay. One question, Miss Catherine.
Mhm.
So, what if we don't have any engineering background, but we kind of have this from non-IT and wanna go to project management role? How can we prepare for that? Maybe like getting the portfolio for the project or something like that.
Sorry, come again. What is the question again? So you don't have engineering background.
Yeah, but maybe I was from English literature student, right?
Mm.
So I
Yeah.
want to get into project management, but maybe there is nothing like the project is not there. Like when you are in engineering student, you kind of have a
Yeah.
lot of projects to create, right? For your personal one, for your
Oh, okay.
one. Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, actually you shouldn't. This is also one of the thing that I always tell my Bangkit students. You shouldn't limit formal projects. For example, you are being tasked to organize your very big family gathering for Idul Fitri. It's okay, I mean, like you can also, there are project management elements in it, like how you make sure, like from taking a, like how you prepare the food and the venue, and then what who, if you want to call a band, how you do this event organizing and all that. That is also project management. And as a fresh grad, I think people, if you want to include it in your CV or in your interview, is totally fine because people understand that you're a fresh grad, you don't have working experience yet. And or for example, right, you have an online shop, or you sell things online, or you sell stuff in your campus or your bazaar and all that. Yeah, just use it. You just think about, okay, what is the transferable skills from these experiences? Yeah. If you can articulate it, you can write a story around it. Yeah, that can be your starting point.
Okay, thank you for the answer, Miss Catherine. You already give me idea what to do in next month. I mean this one already. Okay, let's go to another question. Okay, from Hilal Fauzan, I have a perfectionist nature. For example, I need to repeatedly check my projects in detail, but this consumes more time and energy. How do you think? Or what do you think?
Yeah, it's good to be a perfectionist, but most importantly, you have to know how to be a perfectionist in the most effective way. If it involves like manually repeating, like repeatedly check your projects again and again, maybe that's not the ideal one, right? So always put a process to it. How can you, based on your, always reflect on your past experiences, and then you put a process, and then you improve that process, how you can be a perfectionist without like doing too much manual work or draining your time and energy. There's always an improvement there, especially if you're a perfectionist. Then you can think about how you can be a perfectionist with very little time, like with minimum effort. Put a process into it. Yeah. For example, you can do a checklist. That is the easiest one. If
Mhm.
every time what you want to check on your projects, if it is always the same items, then you can create a checklist, and then yeah, that will help you a lot. So you don't have to remember what you must check. You already have the list there, and you just follow.
I see. So it's better to have a checklist so it doesn't go
Yeah,
out of.
have a process, have a standard process, and then always improve on that process. Always think of ways how you can make your life easier. Yeah.
Okay, that's it, guys. That don't forget to make always improve every day. There's always something to learn from what you do right now. Okay, next question. Okay, from Sarul Gunawan Ramdhani. What if you have no experience? What do you need to prepare to apply for a job?
I think there is one whole ILT session to answer this one. I think. Yeah, but yeah, long story short, you can actually everybody has experience. What you mean is that you don't have formal job experience. But like I mentioned to Dafa before, maybe you have past projects in your campus, in your family life, or whatever things that you have with your friends. You can start from there, but make sure you write the story according to the position that you want to apply. Yeah, don't limit yourself to just formal projects. And then your bangkit is already one of them, right? So make sure to include your bangkit experiences.
Don't forget, guys, 'cause it's this already a whole program filled with a lot of materials and experience you can
Mm.
gain from
Yep.
this.
Your capstone project, definitely you can put it in your CV.
True, Miss. Okay. Thank you, Miss Catherine, for the answer. And let's go to the next question. Okay. Oh, this time from Ori Prasetyo. Hello, Miss Catherine. How can we focus and rise to the occasion to achieve our career goals, but in the midst of getting a little down is discouraged? Yes.
Yeah, as I mentioned, it is okay to get discouraged, feel down, self-doubt, and everything. It is just parts and parcel of life. We cannot be happy all the time. How we can overcome our like a low mood and our like disappointments and everything in life is how we can finally achieve that career goals. What I can think of, one practical thing for this is that you have to have a good routine, for example. Like, so when you already have this good routine and you make it a habit, for example, to always invest in yourself, like learning something, or even, for example, if you are job hunting and you feel down, you don't feel like applying, but if you already have a good routine that, okay, every morning I will apply for 2 jobs, and when it becomes a habit, it will feel easier and it will not depend on your mood anymore. If you are, it's already become a habit. And we should not rely on our willpower or our mood, because we will fail, definitely. This is already proven over and over again for study or anything. Yeah, don't depend on your mood, don't depend on inspiration. It's really bullshit about inspiration. Inspiration will not come just like that. You have to make time for it, you have to really reach for it to come. Okay, so make it a habit and have a very good routine and have a good habit and time management.
I see. Okay, thank you, Miss Catherine, for the answer. Let's go to another question. We only have two more questions left, so let's see the last document question. From Ade Alfi, Miss Catherine, how can we determine the culture of a company we are applying to and whether is it a good fit? What do you think, Miss Catherine?
Yeah, research, Google. You can, yeah, you can find like I think there's a website called Glassdoor. If it is quite
Yes.
a big company, yeah, there are it's there. Yeah, you can start from there, and then if you have a friend, actually that is the importance also to have connections. If you know somebody that works in that company, you can ask the person as well, and then you can assess whether it will be a good fit or not. Yes. But
I
actually,
see.
when you are desperate for a job, usually this will come later. Just apply first.
Just apply and hope to get accepted, Miss Catherine.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay. I mean, if you come and then you work there and it proves that it is really toxic or it is really not something that you want, you can always look for a new job. Yeah. Or you can also assess during the interview. For during the interview process, you will usually you will have or you will have opportunities to ask questions. So you can ask the questions related to culture as well. It's okay to ask.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Miss Catherine. So guys, don't forget to research. There is always for every company. I think there is on Glassdoor, yeah, Miss Catherine.
I cannot say for every company. If small companies, maybe yeah, they
Hard.
don't have. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Miss Catherine. And let's go to the last question. Let's see, okay, from Bintang Oktisna Zubaidar. It is I prefer if we push on learning something that's not our passion or start from zero again to pursue our passion.
Yeah, this one I think there is no easy answer for that. It really depends on the your situation. Can you afford to let go everything and start from zero again? Every situation, every person have different situation. Like I mentioned, if you have some financial obligation, if you are like tulang punggung keluarga, of course you that is something that you have to consider as well, right? So, like I mentioned, do some assessment, do some reflection, and only you can answer this yourself depending on your situation. There is no for everybody it will be different. Yeah, if you can afford to follow your passion, that is good. And actually, what is passion? This is very interesting because Bintang actually mentioned about passion. But what is passion? And sometimes I used to mistake when I like something. For example, I like language, and I said, "Oh, I'm passionate about language." But come to think of it, no, I'm not really passionate about language. I only like working with language, but I cannot say that I'm passionate because I don't, for example, study linguistics. I wasn't curious enough to dig deeper or learn deeper about like where this language come from, the history of it, and all that. I cannot say I'm passionate about language. Sometimes we can confuse things that we like with passion, and frankly speaking, I don't think passion alone means a lot, but it's really um, how much work you are willing to do for that. Like for example, this is a very good example. Like my son's classmate, she is in the badminton school team. She's a Singaporean, right, in Singapore, and she is in badminton school team. So she never said that badminton is her passion, but what she always does is that every day, without fail, she will practice badminton. Even though like the school is already have a lot of activities and everything, every day she will practice badminton with her dad, who is also a coach, every day. And then every weekend she will go to Malaysia, Johor Bahru, to practice there because there was a good coach over there. And during a long holiday, like here it is like in June, like there is 1 month holiday, she went to Bekasi. So Singaporean went to Bekasi just to join the workshop there, like badminton workshop, and then badminton in a badminton club and practice every day from 4 a.m. to 8 p.m. So my question to you is that are you willing to go that far for this thing that you call your passion? If you think you can go that far, then you pursue it because it means that you know that you are willing to work hard, you are willing to sacrifice for it. But if you just say that, okay, I like this, but you don't really want to put the effort, don't want to really put the time, I think the word passion doesn't really mean anything. Yeah. And again, you have to really assess what is your current situation as a whole. Can you afford to do this or not? What are the pro and cons? And yeah, things like that.
I see. So don't forget to make a risk management plan, just like what Miss Catherine mentioned. And I guess passion is something that we all searching for somehow, some way.
Yeah, I mean, like I just like watched a basketball video with my son about Steph Curry. And he is the greatest shooter now, right, in NBA. And then he shot like 500 shots a day without fail, 500 shots, and for practice only. So you can see that how many shots he make like every week and every year. And in every year, actually only like 1% of his shots was in match. So are you willing to put like I don't know how many million shots for only that particular, like only, I don't know, like a very short time frame when you are in front of other people, when you can show your skills in front of other people? Yeah, only then I feel that yes, maybe that is passion. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Miss Catherine. So with that, it concludes our Q&A session. There was a lot of question answer and a lot of insight to gain from you, Miss Catherine. So thank you once again, Miss Catherine.
Sure,
Uh,
it's my pleasure.
yes. Okay, before that, before closing this session, can I ask for the closing statement from you, Miss Catherine?
Sorry.
Uh, Closing statement, Miss Catherine.
Oh, closing statement. Okay. Yeah, so I think all of you Bangkit students, it's a pleasure to be able to speak in front of you. And you will have a very exciting program in Bangkit. It won't be easy, but if you push through and just focus on trying to get something out of it, don't waste this opportunity. It is really a great opportunity. Make sure you learn something from it. And I wish you all the best for your Bangkit journey and also for your education journey and also your career journey for some of you. And hopefully, you can learn something from today. It might not be as ideal or very nice as you thought, and a lot of it are practical, but that is life. And yes, I really wish you all the best. So remember to know yourself, to know the game, and to keep growing. Yeah,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Catherine. With that, it concludes our guest speaker session. Don't forget to improve yourself, guys, and invest in yourself. And this is just the first guest speaker session. There will be another more next week and until the end of Bangkit. So tune in another guest speaker session. With that, thank you once again, Ms. Catherine, for being our guest speaker session for today. Thank you, guys,
Yeah.
for watching this guest speaker session.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Dafa. Thank you, Bangkit team. Thanks, everyone.
And with that, bye bye, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.